Do you have to go to school to be a good technician? I'd like to answer the question from a viewer today of, do you have to go to school to be a good technician? But before I do it, I'd like to encourage you to watch my videos, what to expect after HVAC trade school, and then what is a real technician? And that's on my playlist, Tips for Technicians. You're watching Tips for Technicians, I'm Tad, and let's get started with today's question of, do you have to go to school to be a good technician? My answer to that question is no. However, I did go to school. And do I believe in going to school? Do I believe education matters? Absolutely. The knowledge is the power. The more you know, the more you grow, the more you can do. And I strongly believe that you need to better yourself by educating yourself. Now, do you have to go to school? No, not to be a good technician. What do you have to be a good technician? You need live, in the field experience. Nothing is better than hands-on. Your instructor has a lot to do with how prepared, how well-rounded you are when you leave school, when you graduate, and you start to enter the HVAC industry to try to make your career happen. Now, why do I say your instructor has a lot to do that? Because if your instructor is not hands-on, like my instructor was, in the fact that I go out into the shop and every other day he rips the wires out of a unit or takes the controls out and goes, hey, wire that unit back up. Put the controls in there and make it work, then you're probably not going to have the experience that you need to have. If you sit in the classroom and you're just looking at your book and you're looking at theory, you're not going to be well prepared, because when you go to work for a company, they're doing specific things, whether they're offering maintenance or they're offering service. They have particular equipment, whether it's residential or commercial, and you need to be well-rounded to be able to be prepared for handling the service that they want you to handle. So your instructor has a lot to do with it. Hands-on and live experience has a lot to do with it. If you're in school, you need to co-op. You need to make sure that you're co-oping. You're making yourself work while you're in school 2 or 3 days, 4 days a week for a company that's actually providing maintenance or service, so that you have that live in the field experience and you're well prepared when you graduate school. So live experience takes 5 years to be a good technician. To label yourself a good technician, you need at least 5 years of experience. That is right. That is what I would say. I have people come in and interview that are about to graduate from school or that have already graduated, that have been doing this for 2 or 3 years, and I can ask them just 3 or 4 questions and they don't know the answer to those questions, like, hey, how do you find CFM? Do you use an anemometer? What type of measurement tool do you use? Do you use a magnehelic? What is a magnehelic? How do you check gas pressure? What is a water column on the outlet for a natural gas or propane? These are questions that if I ask these questions to just new students who are graduating, they don't know the answer to these questions. And that's not good, but it's because they don't have the live in the field experience, and that's what matters. Your instructor matters, your experience matters, and you got to make sure that you have this in the field experience. Otherwise, you're not going to be well prepared for the job. When you go to work for somebody, a company, and they don't offer in-house training, then you go out in the field and you look like you don't know what you're doing, but they expect you to know what you're doing. And honestly, if you are a company that's hiring people, you know that students out of school don't know what they're doing. They need somebody to guide them. And that's why I tell people that come for an interview, the worst thing that can happen to you is that you can get hired by somebody who doesn't care about your future. They don't care about what you know, what skills you have. All they want you to do is go out there and try to be the face for the problem. And that's really bad, because they'll throw you out into a situation that you're not prepared for, and then the customer basically blames you for the issue. And that's one thing that can happen in the field, and I see it happen, and it's sad, because new technicians, they should be guided, especially if you just graduate school. You should be guided, and you should be able to have a good, comfortable environment to be able to learn. Unfortunately, HVAC is not one of those comfortable spaces or environments. It's either really, really hot or really, really cold. But when you look at HVAC, you have so much that you have to learn, like plumbing, like welding, like electrical, mechanical, refrigeration. You have all these different skills that you have to learn. And there's a lot of people in the field that have been doing this for 5 years, 6, 7 years, 8, 10 years. They have a license and still don't know what they're doing. Why? Because they've been doing it wrong. They've been taught the wrong way. And that's another thing that can happen. you can be working for a company, for somebody who doesn't actually do things right. They're kind of the fly-by-night, and they really don't offer good service like they should. And because they don't, they pull you in, you get that reputation too. See where I'm going with this? Just because you have a license doesn't mean you know what you're doing. And I've seen that a lot in the field. So I would say that you don't have to go to school. You need to make sure that you find somebody who's already doing a good job, who's willing to let you just kind of ride along, learn from them. That is the best experience that you will get. Find somebody who's already doing it, guys, that you can get in with, and then go for it. If you guys have any more questions about this question, comment below. I'm here to help you. And if you have any specific questions, if you have anything you want me to do videos on, I'm here to help you guys. I'm Tad, you're watching Tips for Technicians. I'll keep you cool if you let me.